another painful summer for stuck home buyers across the country. According to the latest Anarock report, now even though the number of incomplete housing units across the country have come down a little bit to under 5 lakhs and reached 4.8 lakh units, this is still a very large number of families waiting to get their homes, for which they've paid up almost in full. Now, some of these stuck projects like Jaypee Infratech, Amrapali, Unitech, Supertech, 3Cs have been dragged into insolvency by lenders for their or the company's inability to service the loans and complete projects. Now, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, or IBC as we will refer to in the show, has been amended multiple times to offer some reasonable protection to home buyers. However, very few of the real estate cases have seen an adequate resolution. And the biggest example is Jaypee Infratech. 12 years on, the projects continue to languish with no visibility of when construction will start. And now there's another twist to the tale. A number of private builders in Noida, Uttar Pradesh are declaring themselves insolvent and filing for bankruptcy at NCLT, which is the Insolvency Code. Wave and Logix are some of those prominent names. Today on the Property Show, we get to the bottom of why is the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code failing to help stuck home buyers. With us is Anuj Puri, Chairman Anarock Property Consultants, and his experience with not just home buyers but the industry is of course unmatched. Anjaneya Mishra, he is the managing partner at Amikus Law LLP and an advocate. He's come out with an extremely interesting note on why it's not working for home buyers. We also have with us Puja Mehrish, Jaypee home buyer, with what's happening with the home buyers. But I'm going to really start putting Jaypee Infratech in perspective, because that's the one where we had the highest hopes. 20,000 home buyers are staring at an uncertain future. The timeline of events will appear on the graphics that you will see on one side, but here's the gist of it. In short, in August 2017, NCLT kicked off insolvency proceedings against Jaypee Infratech. A 6-month deadline was set under Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code to settle that 22,000 plus crore debt. Now forget 6 months, we are 5 years down the line. Despite Supreme Court's intervention and Suraksha Realty Group winning the approval of financial creditors and home buyers to take over the company, that happened in June 2021 last year, construction is yet to begin. We are again a year twiddling our thumbs. Now the matter has again been dragged into National Company Law Tribunal, NCLT, that is a court that hears insolvency plea. Now Puja, my first question is to you. What's going on? I mean, I cannot even comprehend the mental anguish that the home buyers are going through after doing everything that they were asked to under IBC, getting together and voting for a resolution.
Yeah, so it's not as simple as just voting for a resolution. It's 5-6 years of toil that we've had on the road. We've sat on dharnas, we've gone to the courts, we've gone to the government, we've gone to IBBI. God alone knows where all we've gone to seek justice. But at the end of the day, every time that we've gone anywhere, we've been pushed into a corner. First was, these time delays that have happened have been so excruciating, mentally, physically, emotionally. We've lost hundreds of our fellow home buyers during this whole process. I myself had to go to all the senior citizens. They didn't even know how to fill up forms initially, for logging in their claims. So I had to personally go into all the senior citizens to help them fill up the forms. Right from that stage, even till now, when we go to the courts and we are told to stay out of the courts, stay outdoors, till the matter of reconciliation takes place, which I don't know what it has to do with the resolution process, which is endlessly just dragging the whole process down the drain. And I'm actually seriously thinking it's actually going down the drain. I've lost my hope and I've lost my dream of ever getting this house. It's been 12 long years that I've been fighting for it, ever since I was supposed to get my personal house in 2012. And now I'm sitting on 2022. I booked it in 2009 end. December. Right. And now I'm sitting in 22 and there is no sight of the house. There's just a building without even a plaster on it. It can fall any day. So much of destruction happening there.
The pain is higher because you know what, you've said something which really has caught my attention, that you said we don't even know whether we have a resolution. Anuj Puri, now we are sitting on a case where when Suraksha won the bid, which was we were just coming out of COVID and inflation hadn't hit us. Now we have a environment with the cost of construction has gone up by, as developer community tells me, 15 to 18%. Suraksha had put aside a certain amount. It won the financial bid on a certain basis and calculation. What happens now? I mean, will they even come up and take the projects over? We have ICICI, which has dragged the entire case back to NCLT, and NCLT has postponed the hearing a couple of times in resolution, and home buyers are kept outside. They are not even privy to what's happening inside.
So Manisha, I understand what Puja is saying, and I understand the pain on that. I do want to say, take the other side of the coin, and I'm going to make 2 points in this, Manisha. One, before the IBC took over, it used to take nearly 4.3 years for a case to be resolved in India. And this is I'm quoting from the Financial Stability Report released by the Reserve Bank of India. The CIRPs, which has yielded the resolution, that 4.3 years has come down to 433 days. So, from nearly 1400 days, 433 days. So there is a drop of 73% reduction in the time process. Whilst I understand, again, I'm very cognizant of what Puja said but I do want to also put in a perspective of what it was before the IBC came into existence and what it has done now. Secondly, Manisha, I do want to also bring on the other side Amrapali case. We're involved as Anarock in that that is also a case where we have actually seen resolution.
Yes.
Work where we are seeing the home buyers getting the stuff, where we are seeing NBCC, getting involved in that. Again, I'm not taking away from the home buyers. But I'm saying is that there is an aspect that IBC is working. There are these instances. Again, I'll quote one more data point because I know you love data points. Of the 263 cases that had gone in, 120, which is 46% within the real estate, have got resolved. Okay. Admittedly, yes, 143 cases are still in the process and they're at various stages. But 120 did get resolved out of the 263 cases that have gone into the NCLT. And then I've got a breakup of where that 143 cases are. I'm not going to go into that but I do feel is that there should be another perspective given that before IBC where we were, after IBC where we are. Yes, it is a process that we are working on. Can it be done better? Everything can be done better.
Fair enough, Anuj. I understand there have been some hits, some misses, and it seems that there have been cases resolved in real estate. But even if 50% are not resolved, the personal pain of the home buyers is too much. Anjaneya, I'm going to come to you as a legal mind. Can you give me, 3 or 4 recommendations on how we can make IBC work better for home buyers?
See, we can make IBC better in the manner that firstly, the court has to, step in, and the court has to dispose of the pending applications in the manner, in the expeditious manner, because the problem that now we are facing is that there is a logjam in the court because of the previous pendency in the tribunal because of the 2 years of the gap because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Secondly, the IBBI regulations and the act in itself is so confusing for the home buyers because they, being a layman, they could not understand the nitty-gritties of the law.
Okay.
And thirdly, there has to be some change which has to be brought in by the legislature, because initially, if you would understand that the IBC was not meant for the home buyers, it was only meant for the financial creditors such as financial institutions and the bank and the other operational creditors. It is only after 17th of August 2018 that the amendment came in, and therefore there are certain loopholes in the code itself, which of course the tribunal is trying to work out in consonance with the IBBI and the legislature.
Okay, Anjaneya, that's fair enough. Puja, I'm going to come back to you. The problem Anjaneya has said is precisely the fact that, the code might work, IBC might work, but the proceedings at NCLT are painfully long, complex and tedious. Would you agree with your own experience in the Jaypee Infratech case?
Yeah, not just the Jaypee case, but all the other cases which are lying in front of NCLT. There is a huge delay because the seats are not enough, the judges are not enough. Only 40% judges are in sitting position all over the NCLT, all over India. How can the cases be resolved? And especially with what Anjani said, there is so much of backlog. There has to be enough people sitting there to clear off the issues or the cases which are lying in front of them. They hardly get 20 minutes a day to hear a case. How can a resolution take place like that? Also, to add to this, I have a couple of more problems that I can maybe bring up, which the other panelists could also, throw light on. Is there is a huge lot of policy confusion because every now and then there is an amendment. So we don't know what this amendment is all about. IBBI doesn't come out with any clarification notes on what these amendments are all about. There was one amendment in 2018. There was another amendment in 2020. As a layman, are we really expected to understand all of these amendments and then go to court every time, hire a lawyer and go to the court and fight out these amendments? And another problem is there's lack of consensus of all these stakeholders. There are too many. Banks has a different agenda. They have to minimize their risk or the losses that and as home buyers, we have to maximize our investment.
Puja, let me toss back to Anuj Puri because he feels that it has worked, and it has worked in Amrapali case where they are very closely involved. Anuj, why we have a situation in Noida where now developers themselves are going to insolvency and saying, look, we are bankrupt, please liquidate our assets, give us whatever little we have to complete the projects. Right? But that is another huge uncertain future for home buyers. And 50% of stuck housing projects, according to your own report, is in national capital regions. So there's really something very big amiss in that market, isn't it? And that probably needs to be taken care of slightly differently than just one, these are the clauses under IBC and this is how we're going to resolve it. Someone has to wake up to that fact.
And so, Manisha, that there lies the point that I was making, that IBC to the extent is working because the developers proactively are going and submitting themselves and saying that maybe IBC is the resolution for it. Is it perfect? No. I'm going to make a point what Puja made, but slightly differently. In the current IBC, the home buyer, Manisha, and it's a little controversial, but I will make this point. The home buyer is considered as a financial creditor. And you have a number of these home buyers, who are coming in as financial creditors. And Puja is right, they have different interests. So I do feel is one of the factors that is troubling these developers, that is troubling some of the resolution, is the way that we have brought in the home buyers as financial creditors on the IBC, and it has said is that 10% or 100 home buyers need to be there to be as a party for the IBC.
And Anuj, that's a big improvement from one home buyer also being able to take a builder to insolvency, isn't it? So 10% is a fair number. I know that home buyers aren't happy about it, but I think it's a fair number.
Yeah, it is. But I'm saying is otherwise also, Manisha, that can really pull and push the envelope because they can be 10% of the people who can come together and start to pull down the project, not in the interest of the balance 90%. One other thing, I know we are short on time. One other thing that I would say is that the number of resolution professionals, Puja mentioned about the judges, I do feel is that the number of resolution professionals are also very, very low. I think that also needs to increase, as we are saying about the judges. I do feel is that there needs to be more resolution professionals that we need to add. It was in the papers this morning where we've said is that where it has been quoted to say is that there will be perhaps more corporates or companies that are going to be allowed rather than just as individuals as resolution providers. And I do feel is that will increase the bandwidth of bringing more resolution.
And this one aspect which Puja said, which really struck me, the lenders really, for lenders can take a haircut and they're happy to settle at that. for home buyers, it's really maximizing because they've paid 90% of the money. They continue to pay EMI and rent, which is financially extremely a big burden on them. And how do you reconcile that objective? I mean, in this case, it's ICICI won't let go of their debt and home buyers are badly stuck. So is there a way, Anuj, that we can reconcile these objectives? Isn't home buyer the first, even though they're all financial creditors, but shouldn't their rights be recognized a little higher than institutions?
So clearly,
it's a moral question, I know.
No, and the courts are recognizing. I mean, if you look at the Amrapali case, that is how it has got resolved, is where the courts have taken the home buyers as a priority and said, is whatever said and done, we want these projects to get completed. We want the home buyer to get the project. And, there are over 5,000 apartments that are getting completed in Noida of Amrapali itself, where the home buyer's prerogative has come in way ahead of the state agencies, of the authorities, of the lenders, of the private equity. Oh. And, that is how it has got resolved.
Puja, what is your best case, expectation now, that what should happen and how quickly should it happen? And are you hopeful that Suraksha will take over the project?
Just allow me a second to go back to what you were saying earlier. In my opinion, first and foremost, why should a real estate project go under insolvency in the first place, where the home buyers have paid up 70 to 80% amount upfront? So there is more to it than meets the eye in this case. And as far as Suraksha is concerned, yes, I'm very hopeful that this will definitely go down. But how many years it will take, I'm not really sure about that.
Puja, thank you very much for joining me and wish you all the very best for your case to get resolved quickly, because that is actually the poster case for IBC's resolution for real estate sector. And Anjaneya, thank you for your note and your views. Anuj, always a pleasure to have you and giving us that faith that IBC is working. Let's not give up on it so quickly. When we return, we look at India's first construction material store, which promises genuine products and retail prices at par with wholesale prices. That's Hippo Stores and what it has on offer for you.